So moving on to the next panel, we have a panel that will give us insights on the power and promise of user-owned data and storage, and compute DePIN for building decentralized AI agents on chain. Now that's quite a bit and fairly complex, but fairly happening. And for this, I'd like to invite Todd, who's the CEO of Autonomys. Then we have Chris, CTO of Open Labs. Oh yeah, Todd, there you are. Okay, they're coming in. Okay, Alex is hanging in, right? So we've got the full team up here, and so over to you, Todd. Take it away.
All right, I should be sitting here again. Sure, you should be here. Hello, hello. Howdy.
Cool. All here. All right, welcome everybody, and thank you to Chris, Hong, and Alex for being here for this panel today, where we're going to talk about the DAI agents, as well as DataDAOs and DePIN. So just to start out, we'll make some quick introductions. My name is Todd Ruoff. I'm the CEO of Autonomys Labs. We're launching the Autonomys Network, which is a layer 1 based on proofs of archival storage. And we are storing enormous amounts of data specifically geared toward AI. We're deploying agents. In all of the agent communications and the reasoning process, everything is getting minted on chain. So we've got over 650 petabytes of storage and 2,000 people running nodes. We'll be excited to launch. Hand it over to Han. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm super glad to be here. I'm Hong Ying, the co-founder and the CTO of Fala Network. Fala Network is a pretty old project. We have been working here for 6 years. And our focus is one thing, trusted execution environment, where it's a technology that allows you to use it as a cloud. You can deploy your program, but at the same time, we give you two things. One is privacy, and another is verifiability. So kind of like a combination of ZK, FHE, and PC, but it's super affordable and super performant. And now it's powering thousands of AI agents running on our network. Yeah, so that is super happy to see like how the AI agent and decentralized AI can use this technology to power their use cases.
I'm Alex. I'm CEO of Secret Labs. Secret Labs is also, we're developing Secret Network. Secret is also an OG project. We've been on mainnet for over 5 years now. The premise behind the Secret Network is that all the transactions, all the smart contract executions that run inside a TEE, so it's a confidential computing blockchain, meaning that the state of the blockchain, the inputs and outputs of the contracts are not available for anyone. We just had a nice discussion outside. One of the side benefits of this is that, for example, there's no MEV. MEV is impossible on Secret Network just because the transaction pool is all encrypted. And in the last year or so, we're also looking at the direction of AI, using TEEs for AI, and we'll talk more about how we're enabling this and how we're building this end-to-end confidential system where both the AI execution and the payment and settlement can be done fully confidentially.
Yeah, hi everyone, I'm Chris. I'm leading engineering at Open Data Labs, which is the group of developers behind Vana. For those of you who don't know, we're Vana. We recently launched on a number of places. Yeah, and we are the L1 for self-sovereign data. So I have data, you have data. I'm assuming that everyone in this room has some form of data that can be used and oftentimes is being used to train AIs, to sell products, to add all kinds of societal use case. And right now, like, one, we don't really have control over it, and two, there's a lot of monetization that's happening on what are our assets that we don't have any control over, we don't participate in. And with Vana, we're really excited because we're building the future where you will be able to use your data, stake your data, earn your data, and really control your data and use it in a self-sovereign way, where there's the DeFi part of this, and then there's also the part of this that when you have all of your data from your Google to Facebook to OpenAI chats, etc., when you have all that in one place, it's actually possible to build a much better user experience, and for you as a person to get a much stronger user experience out of that, much better products. Yeah.
That's great, thank you. So basically, two people are trying to encrypt your data and the third is trying to sell it. So it's an interesting mix here that we have. But the common theme here is really user control for everyone and protection of data, or at least deciding how you want to use it. So we're talking about DAI as well as some data DAO topics. But first, I would just like to hear from each person. What are you doing with DAI and how is DAI being, what's specifically in your ecosystem?
Oh yeah, that's a really good question. So decentralized AI means a lot of things, and actually AI is a huge supply chain, right? In contrast, like we now have the centralized companies, OpenAI, they just monopolize everything. But that's not good for a few reasons. First is you lose the control of your data. You just hand your data to someone else, and you have no idea how they're going to use your data. And second, like your data is also being monetized by Google, Meta, and OpenAI, and you even get nothing from that. So at the same time, we also see that the centralized AI is hitting some bottleneck. Like recently, OpenAI just launched their GPT 4.5, super slow and not that mind-blowing for a lot of reasons. Like one of the biggest reasons I would say is they hit the data wall. They don't have the data. They have already used all of the public available data right now. So that is the thing, like a centralized AI cannot really overcome. And how about on Web3? On Web3, we can make sure all the data is owned by yourself. That also means you don't only need to rely on the public available data. You can also rely on the data from the private users. And if we pull all those private data together, we can even get more data than OpenAI and Google, what they have owned right now. So this is the opportunity for decentralized AI. We can have more data, then we can train better model. And we have better model, we can sell it to not only Web3, but also even Web2 users. Then there's no reason people are still going to use the centralized AI. And we also get all those privacy problem and incentivized problems solved eventually. So I do think this is the biggest opportunity for decentralized AI.
Yeah, so I'll just continue on elaborating on what Hung just said. So of course there is a huge potential in making AI decentralized, right? But now when we think about it, when we talk to OpenAI, yeah, we know they're using our data, but at least we know who we're talking to, right? There is an address, there is a company that can potentially maybe be, made responsible for whatever they might do. If we are living in a fully decentralized environment, right? So we send some questions to a decentralized AI model. We don't even know who's running the machine. We don't even know who is the person who might be listening in to what we're doing, right? It's a huge problem. It's a good thing there is a solution, the TE technology that actually protects the data from the owner of the hardware is the answer. And that means that in order for decentralized AI to actually work and solve the problem, as Hang just said, with sharing all the data and all those great things, we need it to be TE enabled. Otherwise, it's actually even more broken than centralized AI.
Yeah, stepping back to what we see as DAI and how we can interact with that, I think that there's actually a lot of value to be had. If you look at the existing data sets, if you look at what's out there and how data can play a role in this AI, decentralized or not, there's all these fragmented ecosystem where the data that I put in Google isn't shared across to the data that I put in Meta, isn't shared across to the data that I have on my iPhone, and there's no real good way for me to unify that, and when you unify that, you actually get a really compelling user experience, and you get a better life. And one of the things that we do at Vana is unifying that, creating that better user experience, and really letting you be in control of your own data and how that's used, where our goal is to make better systems empowered by AI, better intelligent systems empowered by data, where we are a platform that, I think one of the only platforms that lets you use your data in that way and get that better experience for yourself. Where if we look at DAI and how that interacts with AI, we've got some part of the system that is probably going to be centralized and some part that's probably going to be decentralized and give you that federation, that user control. And for me, personally, I care about my data being in a place where I can control it and get the most use out of it.
Yeah, interestingly, a few years ago, I remember I went to Google and I did that download your data. I wanted to see how this is. It took like 3 days and it was almost 100 gigabytes. It was unbelievable. It was unmanageable, so I just wanted to have it so I could see. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. So yeah, there's certainly a lot to be gleaned from that from an individual standpoint. So AI agents are all the rave right now. And as you probably know, as I mentioned to you, Alex, we spoke about this. We're putting our agents on chain and we're storing all the data and the interactions and the reasoning process because we feel that there's going to need to be accountability and we feel that there's going to need to be permanence and even transparency in some cases. So all that has to be kept on chain in a place that can be ready for the next billion agents and so forth. But why put AI agents on a blockchain? What do you think is the reason that AI agents should live on a blockchain, huh?
Yeah, I can go first. So this is a really interesting question. Actually, in last year, I still don't understand why. But in the end of last year, we see a really interesting phenomenon happening. So first, the phenomenon is that there's a very popular meme coin called, well, the meme coin is GOAT. It's called GOAT. But the agent is called Truth Terminal, right? And people are just fascinating about that because they think, oh, there's an AI, it can run everything on its own. And how will the, oh, damn, pager duty alert. Yeah, no problem. I'm just going to snooze that. So, like, people are just fascinating about how AI is going to act on its own. And there was a mistake made by the AI agent. They just had a typo on Twitter. Then people just got frustrated. Whoa, is this a real AI? Can it be just a human behind the AI, pretending to be AI? And at that day, the gold price just got crashed by 30%, just over the night. So this gave us feedback. Okay, people really care about the AI. It's the real AI. It's not the fake AI. And another case is like now if you check the biggest influencer in the crypto Twitter, and you will say the top one is AIXPT, which is an AI, it's an agent, that's the biggest influencer. You can imagine how those AI agents, if at some point send a tweet saying, this is the CA, just buy it, then people buying that, pump that to the sky, and if that's not a real AI, then the people who control that AI can just rug everyone, just like how Trump rug everyone in the January. So, those are the two examples to show how people care about. We need to prove AI is a real AI because AI is not going to rug you. You're going to just follow how it is designed. But if it's a human, then who knows? So yeah, just my 2 cents.
Yeah, so I think there are to the question why AI agents should live on the blockchain, I don't think they should. I think, or not all of them should. I'm sure there are AI agents that can live without necessarily using the blockchain. The blockchain gives several advantages, like obviously the payments, right, which are very easy and in a way anonymous and don't require KYC necessarily, so the agents can just do all kinds of different things there. And coming back to this verifiability, and again, that's where TEs come in, right? AI agents that use TE technology and possibly together with a blockchain, those AI agents can really be verified, and then users can be sure who exactly they are talking to or listening to, right? And they can be sure that there's no human or anything else, behind this agent trying to manipulate what it's doing, and they can be sure that the source code that is published is exactly the source code that is running. That's the benefit of TE and in some cases blockchain powered. So I think it's very important. I think with time people will realize that only way to credibly run an AI agent on a blockchain or otherwise is to prove and verify using TEs. And in this way, those AI agents will become, in a way, like the smart contracts, right? That are verifiable and immutable, and that you can audit, and then you can be sure what exactly it is doing. Because that's when code actually becomes law again, and that's when you don't have to trust the human behind the agent, the operator of the agent. You only have to trust the code and maybe the AI model that is out there. So that's my take.
I mean, in my perspective, there are a couple of interesting things that you can do with agents on chain, like Het2 protocol made a consensus mechanism where instead of having a secure cryptographic consensus, they just ask a bunch of agents, hey, should this block pass or should it not? Which is cool. I don't know how useful it is, but it's cool. There are a lot of other blockchain applications that, for a decade now, code has been law, and it's really hard to get code to imagine all of the things that you would ever want to do in a perfect aligned setting where, in low-risk applications that you're trying to do across a decentralized network, I guess, that you could have an AI, or an AI is like a cheaper human or a cheaper level of intelligence, but I mean, there are obviously risks with that. Then there's the other thing, which is like Web3 and Web3 primitives, Web3 properties that you can bring to AI, where at Fauna we're really excited about being able to take that data and like these Web3 self-sovereignty, control over your data, the ability to use it across applications, all of these very Web3 philosophical things, and extending them to everybody's data so that you can have the best AI, so that you can have the best agents, and you can have the applications and things that you're running that can understand you, and you have enough trust in the system that you can combine all of your data from across, and you can control where that data is used and how that's used.
Oh yeah, quick comment on that. So both you guys mentioned a lot about trust. So I would think both blockchain and the decentralized AI is all about trust. So besides only the trust between human and AI, there's also the trust between AI and AI. This is another very interesting case. Like now, most of the AI agents are just a standalone AI agents, which is like just a sheet posting for fun. But I think in the near future, there will be more and more utility AI agents. Like one AI agent acting as a boss, they can hire more AI agents, distribute the task, oversee them, and complete a more complex task based on the collaboration between the AI agent. Then here is the problem. How can one AI agent be convinced the other AI agent can really done their job well? So a way is to put it in the TE so that everything it can be proven is the true AI, not the fake AI, and all your historical performance can be recorded on chain. And even like for AI models, you can have all the data sources to train this data model, to train what is used to train this model also be purely transparent on the blockchain. So combine all these technologies, we can be sure those are the real good AIs, not the bad AI or any human behind the AI. So yeah, I do think like using this technology can eventually solve the trust problem for all those use cases.
Yeah, that's great, Han. I'm going to just keep right on going because we only have a few minutes left, but I'm going to go a little off topic here. And I'm going to start, and I'm going to ask each one of you a question directly, and I'm going to start with you, Alex. And you talked about this a little bit yesterday, but what types of innovations in private smart contracts can help to enable more efficient resource allocation for supporting AI agents?
So resource allocation, I think resource allocation in AI needs to be, especially if it's personal resources of a physical person, that should be confidential, right? If there is a model that is trained for psychological problems, for instance, I don't want, and I'm using it, I don't want people to know that I'm using it, right? So that's where private smart contracts can be used. That's even more so when I want to train a model on my data, right? So all the interaction with the model should be done using TEs, and if blockchain and payments are involved, then you need confidential smart contracts to keep track of all that. So you can think about people using some very sensitive medical data jointly to feed it to a new model that's being trained, and then this model can improve their lives together and maybe other people, and they could get paid for it as they do so. But their own data and even the fact that they contributed to that model is very private, very confidential, and this can be executed using confidential smart contracts. So it's privacy of the data is super important. That's where AI running inside TEs, that's what it does. But I think also the privacy of the metadata, what I'm using, where I'm contributing, that's also super important, and that can be done using confidential smart contracts on layer 1 chain like Secret or others.
That's great. We are just at the end of our time, but if we can get maybe another 30 seconds just for Hong and then for Chris. I would like to know what aspect or vertical of DAI and on-chain agents or on-chain agents are you most excited about and why?
It was like shit posting AI agents in the past, but there will be more utility AI agent happening in the future. Now we're seeing like AI swarm trying to build something that's really not showing before. And there's also a very interesting project called the Chaos Chain. It's made by Hatu and Nethermind, where you can, oh yeah, you know that, like you can bring a blockchain purely operated by AI agents. You give it a mission, and then you just throw that to the AI agent, let them to figure out how they're going to be self-organized and how they're going to figure out to solve this problem. That's super fascinating.
Chris, go ahead. We're at time, as I said, but please, same question. What are you most excited about?
Yeah, I think that as we onboard more data on Vana, it's going to be really interesting to see the kinds of applications that people build, and it's going to be really interesting to see more of the data sets that people build. I mean, Reddit DataDAO was 200K users, differentiated data, like data that you can't get out of the API endpoints in a Web 2 service anymore, and them being able to link that because one user can upload multiple different data segments. Like, I think that that's going to be interesting to see what people make with it. And then obviously I'm very nerd sniped by things like decentralized training.
That's great. I want to thank all three of you for joining the panel today. Autonomys, we work with all three of these as partners or are establishing partnerships. Looking forward to integrating. So I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference, and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Todd. Thanks everyone.
Thank you, Todd and Dave.